So given the passions that we now see, very dangerous passions, we very much need good data, the truth behind the inflammatory hysteria over deaths in custody. And I'm hoping that will now come out in hearings starting tomorrow by Federal Parliament's Joint Law Enforcement Committee. The committee's chairman is Liberal MP Craig Kelly. He joins me now. Craig, it's great to see you. How keen are you to get the truth out about deaths in custody?
Well, Andrew, I watched the ABC program last week where the allegation went to air, was broadcast across our continent, that 400 Aboriginals had been murdered, and they used the word murdered in police custody. Now, Andrew, if we're going to have this, if that was actually the case, I myself would be on the front line protesting about it. But when you look at the data, Andrew, it's just completely untrue. We have, since the Aboriginal Royal Commission into Deaths in Custody, since that back in 1991, every year we've had the Australian government, I've got it here, the Australian Institute of Criminology has actually run a report about Aboriginal deaths in custody. Now, the last report they've done is the year 2017-2018, and I'll read exactly from what that report says. So this is not my interpretation of the figures. This is what the exact report the Australian Institute of Criminology says. And it says the death rate of Indigenous prisoners was lower than the death rate for non-Indigenous prisoners, 0.14 per 100 and 0.18 per 100 respectively. So the death rate of non-Indigenous Australians is actually 22% higher on the last data that we have than is for Indigenous Australians. It's the exact opposite of what we're being told. And these numbers are not just sort of like one-off, anomalies. It's happened every single year since 2003. Aboriginal deaths in custody as a percentage of the prison population have been lower than non-Indigenous deaths.
And of course, then they'll say, oh, well, look, but police are arresting more Aborigines. And you think, well, look at the crime rate, murders, domestic abuse, sending women to hospital at sometimes more than 30 times the background rate. Yes, there are more Aborigines being jailed because there are more Aborigines committing crime. Hard fact, true fact. What is your committee going to do about getting the facts out in this debate before some police get seriously hurt?
Look, you're right, Andrew. The fact that we're allowing many of the media organisations not to tell the truth in this debate is leading to people getting hurt. Not only police, but also Indigenous members of our community themselves. If they think and they turn on the ABC and other sort of left-wing broadcasters and newspapers and think, oh, if I get caught, I'm more likely to die in custody, they're going to try and evade police. So we're doing the exact opposite of what we should be doing, Andrew. We've just simply got to get the truth out. And as the chairman of the Law Enforcement Committee, that is what I intend to do, to make sure we are actually debating this issue with facts, not misinformation, but facts. And I said those facts clearly show that as the rate of prisoners in jail, non-Indigenous actually have a much lower rate of deaths. And remember, Andrew, when we talk about deaths in custody, it's not sort of like police being killed. The majority of the deaths in custody occur from natural causes. And a third of what is categorised as deaths in custody is actually where people have become ill because of something and actually died later in a public hospital.
Craig Kelly, I wish you all the best for your committee deliberations. If there's racism, uncover it. If there's abuses, uncover it. But above all, we need the facts, and I thank you for doing your best to bring them to the table.
Thank you, Andrew.